busy out here because we're doing a lot of construction on this house, but we're getting ready to start laying out for these cabinets. This is an indispensable tool when you're setting up the cabinets. It's a laser level, and this one has a 360-degree feature, so it'll put a line all the way across. Now, if you don't have a level like this, you can use your standard 4-foot level to determine where you're going to start at. Now, before I mark off anything, I take a board and I cut it 34.5 inches tall or long. The reason why I do this is because this will match the side of the cabinet. The cabinet is 34.5 inches high. Your countertop is 1.5 inches, so that makes 36. That's your starting point. Okay, so what I'm going to do is take this line, set it across here, and once I have my line across here with my laser level, I'm going to be able to set this right on the top edge of it. When that laser level touches right on the top edge of this, and I'm touching the floor, then I'm perfect. So what I'm going to do is go to the highest spot I have on here. You don't want to start from the lowest. If you start from the lowest, you can't change things and make the other end of the cabinets go down. So you have to start from the high point, and then you shim your cabinets up on this end to match this side. See what I'm talking about? I'll take this and put it on a line and put my shims underneath it, and I'll be able to match it perfectly, very easily. Another way of doing it, and I like to do this way. I'll take and put my line out with a laser level and put me a little strip of wood. I'll screw a strip of wood right along the top of that line. That way, when I put my cabinets in, I can shim them up to that back, and all of them are going to be perfectly level. I don't have to worry about any of those being off from each other. Then you can just take that strip of wood off when you're finished, because your countertop and your backsplash is going to cover it. You're not going to leave holes in the wall. Okay. In this case, they're putting brick flooring down, so they're not going to do this yet. They're going to wait till I have my cabinets in, because they're uneven, they're jagged. So I'm going to go ahead and put my strip down here to start. I know I put my level from that strip, and you can see I'm a little low on this side. Now I'll put my my shim underneath it, and I'm right on the line. That's where I want to start, because this wall cabinet, this is an oven cabinet that I'm putting in here first, and I'm going to start off with that. I like to start with my tall ones. I get my height, and I make sure my base cabinet toe kick matches the height of this cabinet, because you don't want to have one way up and one down. You want it all even across the bottom. Once I determine where my starting point is from the ground, in order to get things level, I measure up 96 inches. And when I go 96 inches from that shim, I'm going to mark my line, and then I'm going to take my line and run it all the way across. That way, I can measure off this line right here from my large cabinet, and I'll get these outlets exact. If you try to measure this from the ground to get these outlets, they'll never match up. You have to go from a top point of it, because this is going to be level, you know it's going to be right, and you measure off that point. Also, keep in mind that these are full overlay cabinets. For full overlay cabinets, you really want to take it off the wall at least an extra 1/4 inch. Once you do that, it'll leave you room to open the doors. You don't want this full overlay door catching and rubbing on the end when you try to open it. As I said before, your tall cabinets are the first ones you want to get up on the wall. Everything else is going to run off of that. So, once I have this up and it's mounted to the wall, I'm going to go ahead and take my next cabinet and slip right up against this board. That's why I take this board, I set it right on the very top of this, real tight. I marked off for my studs, and I screwed that in the wall. Now, by myself, I can take this cabinet, shove it up tight against there, and I pre-drilled my holes. I'll just take my screw and run it in. You can see that board makes it so much easier. It keeps everything in alignment. Shove it right against there real tight. Hold it like that. I already have my pre-drilled holes ready for the studs. That one's in. and this one's in. You see how easy it is to put this up here by yourself once you have that top board on. Now, the main thing after this is to maintain your plumb and level cabinet. So I'm going to take and put a level on the side here and on the face, and any shimming that I might have to do against the wall, I'll slip it in there and break it off and tighten up the screw. What I'll do is I'll loosen it up if I have to put a shim in there, slip that shim where it needs to go, and then tighten it, break off the shim. The next thing I'm going to do is tighten these two together, this filler right here and this cabinet. With this new Savage tape, I have a guide built into it. And this guide right here will help me get this measurement right here. I'll set it in between, right in the center of this, lock it in place. Now, I can take my pencil on the inside and I'll just mark where my screws are going to go. So I can pre-drill this and run screws from the back and tighten it up. And it'll fall in perfect. I don't have to worry about coming through the face. Now I have a perfect line right here that tells me where the face of the filler is. And I'll pre-drill my holes. For this, you want to use 1¼ inch screws, and you want to use coarse thread on any type of cabinet work that you do. That makes sure it bites.